Right guys, it's Sam from Lifestyle Bullies, back with another video again today, and today we're going to talk about how to identify and try and improve and prevent flaws in the American Bully. But before I get into it, please go make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe on the video. Go follow us on Instagram, lifestyle_bullies_, and there's going to be loads more content coming up soon. Thank you. So let's get into it. So yeah, we're going to talk a bit today about what you want to be looking out for when you're either going to buy a pup or when you've got a dog and you're trying to keep the track of your bully, and what you need to do to try and help these things and prevent them. And these sorts of things are going to help you a lot. One, when you're buying a dog, and two, when you're trying to improve something that your dog's already got wrong with it that you want to potentially help go forward. So some of the flaws that are really mainly prevalent in the American Bully are some like the east-west. So what the east-west is, it's where the front paws of the dog, so the two front paws, they kind of sit out. One's going to the left a bit, one's going to the right a bit, and you can kind of always see it in their walk sort of thing. So when they walk, their front paw there will just stick out to the left and stick out to the right as they walk, and when they stand a lot of the time they'll bow their legs out just like that. Now this can be caused by a few things, and it can be there for a few reasons. One of them can be genetics, so it just comes down from the parents, so behind the parents maybe, and it's just something that's prevalent in them. But you can breed away from it again with selective breeding. But another thing it can be is due to the weak, because obviously all the tissue and all the tissue inside of the pasterns and their wrists and everything like that, it's all really young and nothing's quite developed properly yet. So putting too much strenuous weight on there and putting too much exercise on there, so again too much pressure on them areas, can weaken them tissues and make everything disfigure a bit. So there's a few things that we can do to help that, and one of them things to do is, like we said in our raw videos, help keep your puppies light. And keeping your puppies light is going to keep that structure up there. It's not going to put too much downward pressure on any of the soft tissues that aren't quite developed yet, and then it's going to keep, hopefully, your puppies or dog's paws nice and straight. Then another thing we can do with that, which is if it's because obviously with this sort of thing, there's a sort of stage in a puppy's life when it's a bit younger where it's a lot easier to correct this. But once it gets a bit older, it's a lot harder to correct it. So another thing they'll do, or you can do, is put like gravel in their pens or gravel around and let them have a good walk around in the gravel for a long time. So what the gravel's going to do is it's going to help strengthen them pasterns, which is basically your dog's sort of wrist area around there, by making sure that it can't make the same step twice on that gravel, and it's going to make a new step each time to hopefully start to try and straighten out them front paws. So another thing again to help try with the east-west is you can raise their bowls again, so their feeding bowl, if you get them in a raised bowls, keep rising it so they have to posture up as much as they can to try and strengthen these pasterns. So what else have we got? So another one we've got, which is like a big one with the American Bully, is the high rear. So what the high rear is literally exactly as it says. So when the back end of the dog is kind of up and you've got kind of a slant going down towards the front. And again, caused by many things, mainly with this one it's genetics and going back to the parents and seeing that it's been bred with a dog with a high rear and it's passed it through to one of its siblings. That is the main reason. But again, excessive weight can cause a high rear and things like that from a young age. Too much weight can bring that sort of posture down and create that curve. But it's also, yeah, like we were just touching on, it's from breeding the wrong way. So a lot of people, especially in the bully game, when they're mixing their breedings and they're doing the pockets to the XLs, for example, they can take the mum's sort of front and then take the dad's back end. So you've got a taller back end, say if he was the XL, and then you've got the pocket who's got the shorter sort of front end. And it can go either way, but still, when you're breeding, you don't just want to aim for just one or two good pups with a good top line. You're trying to get all the pups like that, so it's something to stay away from. So again, with a high rear, definitely look out for that when you're buying a pup. You want to see some pictures of it, not just a photo. You want to see a video if you can of it moving side to side. Very easy to hide the angles from taking just photos. So you make sure, if you can, you want to go see these dogs that you're either buying or working with or studying or anything like that. But if not, you want to see at least videos of them moving side to side so you can see that top line when they're moving to make sure it's not too far down. And then the other one, Well, another flaw we're going to see a lot is when we go to the sort of the back end of the dog, and we've got its back legs, and we've got the back legs that come straight down like that. Now that's how a correct rear should look. The legs should come straight back down like this. There should be no kicking out. And when the dog's walking, you want to see the front paw go forward, and then the back paw follow it, just like that. You don't want to see anything kicking out or anything like that, because what that can be is a cow hock. And a cow hock is, like I say, it's where you've got this something kicking out and the rear legs of the dog near the hock right down the bottom. So look out for that when it stands, when it's a puppy. Make sure it's standing straight onto its legs and it's not bending over, arching in, and it's just trying to like pull itself up, because that's something that can cause a lot of issues for the dog's movement, and it's something that's definitely hard to breed away from. So that's the cow hocks. Another thing is when you look on the rear of the bully, you want to see something that's called nice rear angulation, and that's where the back legs, you want to see a slight curve in them, like a slight bend. So it's not just like a straight down leg, like it's on like a pole, for example. You want to see a bit of a curvature, and like we were talking about earlier, what is called is stiff stifles. So the back of the legs near the hock, it's all stiff, and there's no curvature, so it's not bringing the top level. So then again, that's where we go back to the high rear, and the stiff stifles can cause the high rear by making the back legs of the dog be a bit too straight, and it just ends up bringing the back end up. Now, one of the flaws which is really hard to get away from, and it's just going to go through, and it's really hard to breed away from, is the overbites and the underbites. So the underbite is when you want to open your dog's sort of lips around here in its mouth, and you want to let to see if when its teeth come together, it wants to be kind of like some scissors is the best sort of bite you're looking for, and that's the best sort of way to describe it. They kind of just slot like some scissors. What you don't want is the bottom jaw sticking out really far, and the top line of teeth, just sticking really far behind it. Now what this can do is cause a lot of disruption for the dog eating. If the teeth dig into the gums when they're eating, it can cause a lot of uncomfortableness. And also it's one of them prevalent flaws that you can just hardly ever breed away from, so you want to stay away from that. And again, the overbite's exactly the same. It's where the top set of teeth are set a bit more further forward than the bottom set, and again, it's really hard to breed away from. Another really hard one to breed away from is the small head. Now obviously with the bully, you're always looking for a big head, but if you have got a dog that you're trying to breed from, and you notice it has got a small head, that's one of the things that's really, really hard to breed away from. It seems to always be passed through. But again, it can be bred away from. You might have a litter where you get 1 or 2 pups where it's got a good sized head, but that's not what you're aiming for. And along with the head comes the muzzle. Obviously you want a nice short muzzle. The snipey sort of terrier type muzzle, that's definitely really prevalent, really hard to breed away from. And there's nothing you can really do. Again, we're looking to keep quality dogs in and just breed quality to quality, so we've got to look out for all these flaws and make sure that when we're buying a dog, just like everyone, you don't want to be going out there making these mistakes that a lot of people make, just throwing their money at anything with a big name, but they don't realise what they're buying. So the best thing I could ever say to anyone is, before you go buy a bully or any dog, is get your research into what the standard is. You want to be looking at your dogs and making sure they're matching that standard, whether it is the ABKC, UKC. If you're doing just a normal United Kennel Club with other dogs, you want to make sure you're matching that standard, and that's the main thing you want to be going away from. So we talked about the high rear, we've talked about the weak pasterns with the east-west, we talked about cow hocks, we've talked about stiff stifles, and there are many other little flaws that go into it, but to be honest, I just wanted to break them ones down to you quickly today, so I could just get an idea out to people of what to look for when you're going to buy a bully or buying a puppy or a dog you want to work for. So yeah, thank you for tuning into that. There's going to be a lot more videos coming up with a lot more information about the dog, about how to help you with your program or just buying a dog, how to look after your dog, loads more content coming up. So if you like the video, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you again on the next one.